In this unit, we are going to write an opinion essay. In this first week, I'll model how to clearly state an opinion and use facts, reasons, and details from a source text to support a point of view. Later, you will have an opportunity to plan, draft, and revise your own opinion essay based on your readings in this unit. So right now, we're not actually writing. We're looking at an example. That's what this mentor writing prompt is. Okay, it's a mentor writing prompt, meaning it's not for us, it's for us to look at. So go ahead and pause the video and read what the prompt asks. Okay, so you should have read it by now. This prompt asked me to read 2 excerpts. Remember, an excerpt is pulled from a larger novel and it just is small parts of it. But it's asking you to read 2 excerpts from a novel published in 1919 and decide if I would recommend the author to other readers. To respond to the prompt, I need to write an opinion essay with multiple paragraphs. The prompt tells me I need to include an introduction, support for my opinion using information taken from both excerpts, and a conclusion. So this will help me plan out my paragraphs. But first, let's look at what a good opinion essay has. It has a clearly stated opinion in the first paragraph. Then you need to have reasons for your opinion, and you can use relevant evidence and details to support those reasons. And then you need to provide a concluding statement. So here is the excerpt. There's excerpt 1 and 2. I want you to go ahead and pause the video to read the 2 excerpts. Okay, once you are done reading the excerpts, if we look back at our prompt, we were supposed to write whether we recommend the author to other readers or not. So here is an example of what the opinion essay should look like. Now, if you look, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraphs. We are going to be doing something very similar to this. So let's read the opinion essay together. I'll read it to you and you can follow along. This book should be retired. Laddie Dog may have been popular with kids when it came out in 1919, but I would have to give the author, Albert Payson Terhune, a big thumbs down. I would not recommend this author to my classmates. The writing and pacing are too old-fashioned for today's readers. Some of the word choices make it feel as if the book was written 1,000 years ago, not 100 years ago. Plus, the point of view the story is told in, the third person by an all-knowing narrator, is not as engaging as it could be. The story would have been much more interesting if it were told in the first person by the dog. Laddie Dog is an adventure story and should be exciting, but it moves slowly. The long sentences are cumbersome, which detracts from the action. For example, this sentence describes Lad saving his mistress from drowning. The dog's burden was thus made infinitely lighter than if she had struggled or had lain in a posture less easy for towing. A rescue should be exciting and action-packed, but this sentence makes it sound like something from a boring manual. The stilted writing and old-fashioned word choices also give the story a stiffness that will be off-putting to young readers today. Specifically in this sentence I just quoted. Did the author really need to use thus, or consider this sentence? And because the dog was strong of soul and chivalric, withal, and because the mistress was altogether lovable, Lad placed her altar even above the master's. What is the purpose of the word withal? In addition, I feel like I needed to keep a dictionary on hand for words such as denizens and chivalric. What's wrong with slightly simple words like inhabitants and brave? I don't mind a few big words, but to have several in every sentence makes the reading too difficult and less enjoyable. Yet what truly makes the book feel old-fashioned is the point of view. Telling a story about a dog is much less interesting than hearing what the dog himself has to say. For instance, when introducing the place, the estate where Lad lives, Terhune writes, he felt he owned it. It was assuredly his to enjoy, to guard, to patrol from high road to lake. I get the idea that Lad thinks he is a noble watchdog, but it would be so much more immediate if Lad told the reader this himself. As I read this, I couldn't stop thinking about Black Beauty, where the horse himself narrates. It makes the story so much richer. In conclusion, I would not recommend this book or this author. The leisurely way Terhune tells the story and the old-fashioned vocabulary he uses will not engage readers today, nor will they get a great sense of the main character, especially since the story is told in third person. My final opinion is that my classmates could pass on Lad. Sorry, I had some trouble reading there. All right. So here's what you guys are going to do. You're going to fill out the notes, okay? So now every single time you watch a video, you have to follow along and write the notes as you listen. And then secondly, what you're going to do is you're going to look at this opinion essay anchor chart. There are 4 key features of an opinion essay. I want you to look at the mentor text opinion essay and label it. So we can do the first one together, and then you will do the last 3 on your own. The first one says it needs to have a clearly stated opinion in the first paragraph. So let's go to the first paragraph, and we're going to label this together. Laddie Dog may have been popular with kids when it came out in 1919, but I would have to give the author Albert Payson Terhune a big thumbs down. I would not recommend this author to my classmates. There's the opinion, right? Because the prompt was asking whether you do or do not recommend the opinion, the book to classmates. So we're going to label that. And it is sort of hard to write this since I don't have a touch screen, but I'm doing my best. Okay, so we labeled it opinion. Have that done. Now you guys are going to look for reasons for the opinion. You're going to look for evidence and details to support the reasons, and you're going to look for the concluding statement, and you're going to label it just like we did here. So there should be a reason in multiple paragraphs. There's not just going to be one reason, there's going to be multiple. So highlight the reasons and label it. Then you need to highlight the evidence for those reasons. So the evidence would be like an example. And then lastly, you're going to label a conclusion, which should be the easiest one because the conclusion comes when. And that is all I have for today.